How do I find a therapist or a counsellor that I find fits me? Especially within the deaf community there's a few deaf-specific counsellors or psychologists. I know there are plenty out there for the hearing community. We have to understand culture and identity and the sense of belonging and understanding the deaf mind. So there are psychologists and counsellors out there. Don't necessarily have to be here in Queensland. You can use technology to look at other ones in different states. I have seen hearing counsellors and I felt the need to get an interpreter in there, but I'd rather have that direct counselling, that one-on-one session there. So I actually found a hearing person, but that hearing person is a qualified interpreter. They were familiar with the deaf culture and they understood the barriers that are faced with us and they understood the mental health sector of it all. And I just felt more engaged with that counsellor. It was more valuable feeling like that I am a person because I'm engaging with my counsellor on that one-on-one. I found them on Facebook there. I know they have a website, the NDIS, NRS. There are plenty of resources. I've asked friends to see who they've experienced and if they recommended anybody. I basically will talk to friends who themselves have seen a therapist and I'll gauge what the interactions are like between them and their therapist. You listen to word of mouth, get some advice from those sorts of people. I will approach and sort of gauge for myself to see if they will fit with me or not. If I find that they are suitable for me, then I'll obviously continue, and if not, I just move on to find a different one. I think it's my right to feel that I can have a good rapport with my therapist. If I don't have a good rapport, that's not going to help me get better, is it? So I need to make sure I find the right fit for me. So what do I do if a person there just doesn't fit with me? I just don't feel that we have that rapport. If I find that I go to a therapist there, I listen to my intuition, I listen to my gut, and I just go, this just isn't working. Something just isn't right here. We have that intuition, that sixth sense that we use. Obviously, we can't use our ears, so we develop that sensation of what's going on. We observe what's going on around us. So I can get a gauge, I can sort of read whether the situation's going well or not, or they might ask some very abstract, random, stupid questions. And that just makes me think, they don't really get it. Or I find that they're not listening to what my needs are. And if that is the case there, I just politely say, thank you very much, and just take my leave.
So choosing the right therapist is critical. Just like we don't get on with everybody who we meet, it's really important to choose the right fit for us. So I would encourage people to explore your options first. So it's totally fine to ask questions of the therapist or the organisation that you're reaching out to support for. Ask them what their specialty areas are. Ask them if they've got experience working on the type of issue that you might be looking for support with. And then sometimes you have to just give it a try. You'll know pretty quickly whether you feel heard, whether you feel understood, and whether you gel with that person. There's no rules around the right type of match, around gender, around personality. Really, that's something that you have to feel out for yourself, and it's totally fine to decide that that's not quite the right fit for you, and to keep looking through those other options that I mentioned.